Hello there, and if this reading found you, then I'm very happy to see you here because I believe that this will bring some clarity to a financial decision or to your financial circling moment. I'm going to check into the energies of money right now for the collective, and I believe that this reading will find you whenever you're ready for this message. So I'm going to draw the cards right now, and then I'm going to come back to you with this reading that will hopefully give you some clarity on what to do next. Just have to lay them out right. These readings are always supposed to give you clarity and also not make you hope for something to show up. So I'm trying to read the tarot cards always with the integrity of letting this be a truthful way of honoring how we can interpret tarot and not keep you hooked here. Alrighty, let's see. Let's look at the messages here. All right, this energy that is coming in right away, I just flipped the cards around, is very, I want to say it's very balanced, it's very paced, and it's very regulated. So in a way, especially the first thing that comes up, like I feel like this whole energy is not very chaotic. So that might be a good thing for some of you. And there is honestly, this vibe that I'm getting is you need to like slow down, get real, and stop fighting the wrong battles. It seems like that's like my first thing that it's coming up here. And honestly, if I'm thinking about this and I'm looking at this first card that comes up, as like the first card that showed itself was Temperance, and Temperance can be, let me show you the card real quick. So Temperance is this overall more balanced energy that is, I wonder, let me just tune in for a moment. So Temperance is never about extremes. It's always about, you know, balancing different energies out. And it also is not this, I would say this is not your all or nothing strategy, because I feel like with Temperance showing up here, that money wants consistency right now. So if we're thinking about money, it wants consistency. It doesn't want like rash decisions. It doesn't want like all or nothing strategies, like I'm just pulling stuff out of thin air, but it really wants consistency and thinking about like, how can I consistently make a certain amount of money? This might be a question that you're asking yourself, but I feel like this is a point where this card is showing me your finances don't want miracle work. They really need like a rhythm. So maybe it's important to find a rhythm here for yourself, how to consistently bring in money, how to maybe look at what you have also. But I also feel like that you're sort of in a rush. With the Knight of Swords showing out here, you might be prone to like impulse buys or impulse spending, or also impulse decisions when it comes to your job, your career, that influences your money. So especially it feels like there's a lot of reaction going on right now. So if this is you and if this is your money reading and you feel very drawn to this, or you felt very drawn to the title, then this is you trying to think your way out of financial stress. But it's in a very reactive way. So it's not a planned way. It's not a responsive way. You're just like, okay, I'm reacting to every decision, to every piece of mail that's coming in, basically, piece of money that I have to get somewhere or draw in. It feels reactive. It almost has this, a little bit of this vibe, especially if your money wants balance right now and this energy comes up. It almost feels though as if you're trying desperately to make things right. So maybe you just made this decision. Maybe you were just like, okay, and now we're going to do money differently. And now the Knight of Swords is showing you, okay, maybe this is where we're at right now. So let's see what we're doing. So I feel like especially doing something with money feels like a little productive, but it doesn't feel very aligned, if that makes sense. I think that what happens is here, we have the King of Cups showing up and Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And I do feel that you are, and that's important, and maybe that's something you need to hear, you are able to handle money. Also emotionally, that's very important. You have the ability to work with money in a calm and collected way. But there is this, I get this feeling of being stuck in a loop. You know, maybe there's money coming in that's going out, but it never grows, it never gets more, or, you know, you have like enough, but you're dreaming for something more. It feels like there's a loop that's been going on and on and on. And maybe this reading can give you the clarity you need to move forward, because it feels like emotionally you can hold larger amounts of money. You can be resilient with probably also not so much money. Like you can be very resourceful when it comes to money. But I feel like, I think it feels a little bit like no matter how steady or unsteady money things are right now, that the things don't fully haven't turned in your favor yet. It's like you're waiting for the scales or the wheel to turn, basically. And I do believe, especially with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, it's like, when is it finally my time? When am I going to be finally able to do the things that I want to do? When am I finally going to be able to, or when is this finally going to turn into my favor so I can do the things that I set out to do? Or when am I going to finally be able to reap the fruits of my labor? Like, that's sort of what it feels like right now. But I feel like just because your emotional stability, in a way, I think that alone is not enough to change what's happening. So to say, it's sort of like, okay, that alone, just your capacity of holding money, your capacity of being resilient, your capacity of knowing that what are the steps is not enough to get you out of this loop, if that makes sense. So I think that there is some intentional adjustment necessary here. So when we're looking at like what's going on otherwise, we have the Seven of Wands come up in the reverse. And it does feel to me a lot like that you're tired of defending your choices, especially when you're stuck in a loop. There might be outside influences who tell you that you should be further along, or why'd you make this decision, or oh, we all told you this wasn't going to be smart. And it does feel to me that you're tired. It could also, like, tired of explaining yourself to others, but this could also not be other people. It could just be how you feel. So this also can be a feeling of that you're explaining this all the time, that you're justifying to yourself or to others where you're at, that you're pushing back against the expectations, like I said, your own or others, but it feels like a push and pull dynamic here. And it does feel to me that there is the sense of, it might make sense now not to confront everything head on in this reactive way. Sometimes it might be better, especially right now in your situation, to think long-term and strategically. Because what also showed up is the Nine of Wands, and this time not in reverse. And this is probably also where the tiredness comes in, because it feels like, yeah, this is close, but at the same time, while being close, you're exhausted, right? That's what shows me basically all here in the cards, that you're doing great at building your resilience, using your resilience even, that you've been tested, it's been tried, like you've learned, you've done things to make yourself not just feel better about money, but you have done more money, you have made money. So I feel like this is important for you. It's important for you to protect what you've built and to be proud of what you've achieved. Even though maybe your bank account doesn't show for it right now, instead of just using your resilience in this way where you're like, okay, so I have this and I have done this, and I'm very resourceful with my money, and I can make a lot out of almost nothing, which is a great, a really great, I would like to say skill. Yeah, skill. It's a very good skill to have. But at the same time, it is very important that we're getting out of this reactive phase. So I think this is like the biggest energy coming through. You're waiting for wheels to tip in, the wheels to tip in your favor. You're waiting for a less drama-filled money mindset. And I feel like you've been doing work. I feel honestly like you've been doing work, maybe even energetic work, or also other work where you've learned stuff about how to handle money and all of these things, but you're tired because you don't see the outcome. So you've been waiting. It feels like I've been waiting and waiting and waiting, but nothing's happening. So anyways, this is sort of the main energy that I see for you here. And I think the tip, or what the move forward could be, is basically with the moon showing up in reverse, pretty empowering here. If we're looking at all of this together, this to me is your clarity returning. In moonlight, we often don't see the things as clear as they could be. I mean, I invite you all to go out on a full moon's night, and you can make out shapes and forms and it will be all cool, but you will not be able to see as much as obviously during the daylight. You can't see the little details. So I do feel like this is like clarity returning to you. It's like the fog is finally lifting. And I feel like what you can do is, the biggest thing to get you out of this loop is have a very, very honest look at your finances right now, see where you're at. And I think that's when the fear over money is losing its power. So I think that the slow and steady adjustments are the ones that are going to make the biggest impact over the quick fixes that you might have been doing out of reactivity. I feel like if you put more intention, like I said, we already know that we have the emotional maturity. You can hold larger amounts of money. So now it is just to be strategic about money. It's also picking your battles. If there is a shortage of money, obviously look at it. What can you cut? What can you not? How can you use your resourcefulness and be strategic about it? And honestly, also, and it's like the Nine of Wands is just screaming at me, you're so close. So this is not to give you hope and to tell you that if you just keep doing what you're doing, then it's going to get better. I think the real message here is that clarity is what you need in this context. And it's available, but you need to be willing to look honestly at what's happening. And I think that is what is going to get you out of that loop that you're in. And this is not like, I think this energy, honestly, it's not about the forcing a change. It's more about, it's more about understanding yourself and what actually works for you. Because I see you as a person that has done numerous, probably teachings, worked on money blocks and all kinds of other stuff. So I honestly see you as this person who's already had so much input, and now it's time to like bring it all together and actually do something with it. That's where we're at. So if that's resonated, let me know. See you next time.